Hi guys, I just want to say something real quick. When you are a true child of God, like when you are his and he has called you and he has a purpose and a plan for you, okay? If you are on a path that he does not want you to be on, and no matter whatever you're doing is out of his purpose for you, out of God's will for you, out of God's purpose for you, you are not going to be able to be successful at that thing. You are going to have a very hard time elevating in that thing and being successful in that thing and really feeling fulfilled at doing that specific thing. Okay. I was listening to an old playlist that I had, and this was like years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have this playlist. And it brought back some memories, and it brought back memories when I was at a job that I didn't really like, but I was working the job because I had to pay bills, I had to put a roof over my head, take care of my kids. And I remember no matter what I did in that specific job, no matter what I did to try to elevate, I was not able to elevate. I was not able to get to the next level. And I always prayed and I always cried, I'm like, God, why can't I elevate? Why does this always happen? I noticed when I was in that mental state and, I was in that position, I had so much negative people around me as well. It's like I was struggling. I wasn't progressing and I wasn't elevating in that position. But I had all these people around me while I was struggling, not encouraging me, but taking from me in the midst of my struggle. Do you get it? It's like they were taken from me in the midst of my struggle. And a lot of them, it was like misery loves company. It was like I wasn't elevating. They weren't elevating. None of us were elevating. But on top of that, they were taking from me in the midst of my struggle, right? So I noticed that in order for me to stop working at that specific job, a lot of things went down in my life. Like I went through spiritual warfare and everything, and I had to, it was kind of like God forced me to make that change. The warfare that I have endured at that time forced me to make a change in my path, and I also had a revelation about my path in my life. Like after I went through that warfare, I'm like, listen, after God saved me from this warfare, I don't want to be on this path no more. And I noticed it's when I started to actually start listening to God and I actually started to shift my path, and I noticed that I started to hear God more, feel God more, and I started to really just open the door. Remember, God says, knock, seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it will be open unto you. So I knocked on the door, and God opened the door to me, and I was able to start hearing him more, feeling him more. Mind you, I was hearing him before when I was on the wrong path, but not as much. I was being disobedient and I wasn't doing the things that I was supposed to be doing. So when I went through that heavy warfare and I changed my life, I started hearing him more. And once I became more obedient, I noticed that every single step that I took in my life led me to where I am today. And it was because of the obedience that I had, and me communicating with God and listening and following where he wanted me to walk, where he wanted me to go, and not being ignorant about it, right? But I also noticed in the midst of me doing that, I lost all of the people that were taking from me, that were rude to me. I lost all of that all those negative people, right? And they were not around me. Do you get what I'm saying? As I started to grow and go on to my new path. Now I'm on the new path that I'm supposed to be on, and I don't have the same emotions that I had before on the old path. I don't have the same anxiety I had on the old path. Like the types of problems that I have on this path are not the same type of problems I had on that path. And no matter what I do on this path, every single day I'm seeing progression, moving towards something. You get what I'm saying? When I was on the other path, I wasn't seeing progression. It was like a hamster wheel situation, right? Now that I'm listening to God, I'm on the right path. I'm seeing progression every single day. I say this to say to you guys that the path that you are on, yes, you may be following God, you may be hearing from God, but just make sure you go to God and you ask God, is this according to your will? Because if it's not according to his will for your life, you may have a very hard time succeeding at it, and you may be working for no reason. You get what I'm saying? But if it is according to his will, be consistent. Eventually you are going to see progression, and you'll know more than me if whatever path you're on is the right path, because you're supposed to pray to God on your own, find out from God on your own whether you are making the right decisions, whether you are on the right path, whether you're in the career he wanted to be in. And you'll know, because like I said, many of you guys, when you hear from God and you can feel God and see God, he'll show you prophecies of your future, and he'll show you step by step where it is he needs you to be. The Bible says a man, the heart of a man makes the plans, but the Lord is the one who actually establishes the footsteps, right? So my footsteps were not able to be established in the past, even though my heart made the plan to be on that path. My footsteps were not being established because that was not according to God's will. But ever since I said, you know what, God, I surrender, and I'm going to be on the path that you want me to be on, my footsteps have been established from the Lord. I'm able to walk in the direction he's been walking, okay? So sometimes some people are stagnant in their life, not because someone's blocking them. Sometimes the stagnation may just be that whatever it is you're trying to do is not what God intended for you to do. Do you get what I'm saying? And you'll know if it is or if it isn't. Sometimes it is blockages, right? But that's where it's up to you now to talk to God and to get the confirmation from God. But I'm letting you know this because sometimes that's what it takes. It takes for you to sit back, reflect, and just say, God, is this where you need me to be? Is this aligning with your prophecy? And you know what I mean? So sometimes we can go based on our own heart's desires and not what God needs for us. God will give us our heart's desires, but it has to also be according to his will. It has to align with his will, okay? Yeah, guys, so whatever path you're on right now, whatever you're doing right now, I feel like no matter how much I try, I can't succeed at this, and I don't know what's going on. Make sure you get double confirmation from God if that's what he actually wants you to do. Because where he may be telling you to go and what he may be telling you to do may seem like the worst thing ever. And you may feel like, God, I don't want to make this sacrifice. If I go on the path you need me to go on, then I'm going to lose everything I have. But sometimes that's what it takes. Remember in Daniel 4, the king, he had to change his path. God had to cut off that tree and he had to go into the wilderness for a bit. I remember what happened when he was obedient to God and he decided to serve God, listen to God, and he served God wholeheartedly. Guess what? The Lord built him a bigger tree that was bigger than the tree he originally had, and he got a lot more than what he had before. Guess what? What I tried to gain so bad on that path that I was on, I tried to gain everything I have right now. I tried to gain on that path and I wasn't getting it. I obeyed God and I have more than what I got. And I got more than what I asked for. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Make sure whatever you're doing is according to God's will, his plans for your life. And make sure that it aligns with his will. Don't be ignorant. Don't be disobedient. Just pray and listen to every instruction that he gives you, okay? Every single thing you do in life is going to take consistency for it to work. So even when you are on the right path that God needs you to be on, you know what I mean? Your consistency will eventually pay off. When you're not on the right path, your consistency may not pay off as much. And it may pay off in certain areas, but then you're not going to be happy. Do you get what I'm saying? So make sure that you are on the right path. And in order to know that, get close to God, pray to God, and get your confirmation, okay? But I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.